Near mint condition, the home of collected editions. Oh my gosh, look at that panel of Batman. You have the Absolute, you have the Deluxe. DC Comics firing on all cylinders. How's it going, all you minties? Uncanny Omar here from Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions. Today, I'm going to give you an overview of the latest printing of the Batman, Ego, and Other Tales by Darwyn Cooke Deluxe Edition Hardcover from DC Comics. So join me. Okay, welcome back everybody. So here we have the latest printing of Batman, Ego, and Other Tales by Darwyn Cooke. And something to note is Tales is spelled with T-A-I-L-S. And it is a deluxe edition. I don't have the original printing because, well, I'll explain here in a little bit why. Let's look at the spine, the deluxe edition, Batman, Ego, and Other Tales by Darwyn Cooke in big letters. The purple banner that goes across the back of the book, and it was also in the front, and it'll go across into the flaps of the dust jacket. 8 classic tales of the Dark Knight from a true comics legend. Then your ISBN down there, and the retail price of this printing is $39.99. And you can tell that this is one of the old school books because of what's underneath the dust jacket. But let's look at the flaps first. A Dark Knight pitted against his most terrifying enemy, himself. Oh man, that's that first story, the Ego story. And then of course the bio on the wonderful creator Darwyn Cooke, which I assume since the printing that no, I think the deluxe edition came out after he had passed away. But it does talk about, yeah, when he died in 2016. But this is what I meant. This is kind of what they were doing with their old printings. It was just kind of a black, really nothing standing out design on the actual book. You have Batman, Ego, and Darwyn, and Other Tales by Darwyn Cooke, the DC logo. And then this imprint right here of the Dark Knight, and nothing on the back. And this is embossed as well as the font going across here. So the reason I didn't pick this up before was because the SELINA'S big score was collected in the Catwoman trade paperbacks, and then eventually there was an omnibus, and then of course the black and white stories which are collected in here. But for some reason I never owned Ego. I've read it several times, and yeah, let's talk about what is Batman, Ego, and then of course look at these other stories, because the big 2 graphic novels that are in here are Ego and then SELINA'S big score. Okay, let's go ahead and get this opened. The black end sheets, Batman, Ego, and Other Tales by Darwyn Cooke, the deluxe edition. And additional writing over here by Paul Grease, Amanda Connor, Jimmy Palmiotti, additional art by Bill Ray, Jay Bone, Tim Sell, colors by, or additional colors, apologies, Matt Hollingsworth and Dave Stewart, and letters by Jonathan Babcock, and Rick Parker, Richard Starkings, and Joan J. Hill. Batman created by Bill Finger with Bob Kane. Harley Quinn created by Paul Dini and Bruce Timm. Superman created by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster by special arrangement with the Jerry Siegel family. There is your breakdown over here as to what's collected. So collected in here is Batman Ego, the original graphic novel, Catwoman, SELINA'S big score, the original graphic novel, and also stories from Gotham Knights 23 and 33, Solo 1 and 5, and which actually they tell you right here, Gotham Knights, and where you can find these original stories from. And your introduction over here. This is a beautiful introduction from Amanda Connor, who actually has a very cartoony style and talks about the cartoony style she has and how someone like Darwyn Cooke was so successful and was like a brother to her. And I think it's a beautiful introduction about the late Darwyn Cooke, who we lost way too early. So this is split up. Like I said, there's mainly 2 big graphic novels in here. This is the book that takes the center stage. It's not in the middle, but it takes the center stage. And this is Batman Ego. Batman Ego is all the story about a henchman that worked for the Joker that failed in a particular mission, and his wife and kid have been killed. So Batman is going after him, and he's trying to stop him, and he finds out that this guy is actually running away, trying to kill himself. He's on a suicide mission because he knows that the Joker, once he gets out, is going to kill him and torture his wife and child. So he's like, I couldn't bear the thought of my wife and daughter in the hands of a maniac, so I killed them myself. That is such a messed up, dark, and powerful line that this guy has the fear of Joker torturing his wife and daughter, so he kills them and then kills himself in front of Batman. That's how big and scary of a character the Joker is. Joker's not even in the damn scene. As a matter of fact, you only see like the Joker calling card at the very beginning. And once the Joker gets out, because this guy failed him, he's gonna have, he's gonna just do whatever he wants to with his wife and daughter, and then him. That's just messed up. But what the story really focuses on is the alter ego idea, the inner psyche of Bruce Wayne Batman. And it's a conversation between Bruce Wayne and Batman, where Bruce Wayne makes a call, and who answers is Batman. And they both talk about how he had been at his side the entire time. There's a flashback to the days of old, Christmas Day, with his mom, his dad, seeing his first dead body, accompanying his dad on a trip, and then making that almost like an agreement between both of these people that are the same person. But I mean, if you've read a lot of Batman, you know the complexity that comes with the character. And oh my gosh, there's a lot of complexity that comes with the character. Because, this is a guy that can back up his brain. But anyway, what ends up happening? Does he come to terms? Does he come to an agreement with Batman and Bruce Wayne? Or is Gotham City left to the mercy of whatever the hell the Joker's gonna do? Or is Gotham City left to the nightmare that the Joker is going to create for it and all its citizens? I'm pretty sure you know where that's going to end. But it's a wonderful story. It's anytime you do a deep dive into the psyche of Batman, I think makes for an excellent story. After the Batman ego, we have this little story right here, written by Paul Greetz, and of course drawn by Darwyn Cooke, that has a fight between Madam X and Batman. And then we get to the SELINA'S big score right here. There's variant covers in between issues as well, and the variant covers were done by Darwyn Cooke for different series. This is Catwoman SELINA'S big score. Now, what I want to say about this is that this takes place after the events of the original Catwoman run, or I guess not the original Catwoman run. It was the ongoing series. The one that started with Jim Bowen and Chuck Dixon. It ended with issue 94, and in issue 94, apparently Catwoman was seemingly killed. One day we'll get the DC Finest, or maybe an omnibus of that era, so you can find out how it happened. But in this, it's kind of her return. She's not dead. She faked her death. So the stories in here, just remember that take place before the Ed Brubaker Catwoman run and after Catwoman issue 94. And it's kind of like the backup stories of the Trail of the Catwoman that was found in 759 to 762, but it takes place before that. That's why this is also collected in the Catwoman omnibus. So the basic premise behind this particular story is about Catwoman, again, seemingly returning back from the dead, having been missing in action for a while, flying to Morocco to capture this particular artifact, and then returning back to Gotham, where she ends up stealing things from several of the mobsters. Now, the character of Slam Bradley shows up through here, which you'll see him play a big role in Ed Brubaker's run. And also there's another character that shows up through here that I think obviously it's a love letter to what this story kind of reminds a lot of us of, and that's Richard Stark's Parker. So there is a character named Starks that appears through these pages here. One of the things that I love about the Selina's Big Score is the lack of Batman in the story. You know, for a book that's called The Batman Ego and Other Tales, this definitely is the Other Tales, T-A-I-L-S, because there's very little Batman there. And then after that, we have the short stories, like from Gotham Knights and the Batman Black and White. Some of them written by, of course, Darwyn Cooke and drawn by the phenomenal Tim Sale, and some of them drawn by Darwyn Cooke and written by someone else. And they're all a little bit different. This is Date Night. Let's go back to Date Night, because that's just too pretty of a book not to talk about. It's a very short story right here that, of course, was drawn by Tim Sale, also gone too soon. So it kind of breaks up the crime story of Catwoman, and it ends up Batman and Catwoman just in a series of locations here. And the dialogue primarily belonging to that of Catwoman, with Batman, of course, with very little to say. And just one sequential piece of art. Just, this is how she thinks that they go on dates. This is the Gotham City story right here. And then we have the Deja Vu story, based on the 70s classic Night of the Stalker by Steve Englehart, Vin and Sal Amendola, and Dick Giordano. Special thanks to Bruce Timm for this one. That's pretty cool that this is actually based on that. So this is a story where Batman gives us no dialogue, just like in that previous one, and all of it drawn by Darwyn Cooke. We have the Crime City Convention story here that features Batman and the Spirit by Jeff Loeb and Darwyn Cooke. We have a Harley Quinn story back here, written by Jimmy Palmiotti and, of course, Amanda Conner. I love the ending of the crime convention. And, yeah, this is the Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Conner story with artwork by Darwyn Cooke. And then the back here showcasing the different pieces of art, including this amazing piece. I love that piece. That Batgirl piece is awesome. There was a Teen Titans that he did, too. But that will probably be collected in the DC Universe by Darwyn Cooke. It's a gorgeous piece. And then Golden Age Omnibus Volumes 1 and 2. This is the Afterword by Darwyn Cooke, talking about the stories that are collected in here and working with different artists. This text was written for and originally published in the first edition of Batman, Ego, and Other Tales, 2007. And then, of course, the bio on the phenomenal and legendary Darwyn Cooke with your end sheets. So let's look at the binding. 256 pages. And sewn binding, printed in this glossy paper stock. I'm glad they're back to glossy paper stocks and not satin paper. I think, though matte paper would look really good. The art would. I'm trying to think of how they're going to do the Absolute Edition, what kind of paper stock they'll use. I wonder if they'll use matte paper, like the thick matte paper stock. But that is it. That's what Batman, Ego, and Other Tales by Darwyn Cooke Deluxe Edition Hardcover is. And that, as they say, is that. If you're interested in purchasing this latest printing of the Deluxe Edition, don't forget to check out our sponsor, CheapGraphicNovels.com, your online home for graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off cover price. They have excellent shipping and prompt and helpful service. Check out their bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. And don't forget that CGN also takes pre-orders. That way you don't miss out on the hottest releases. And they are currently running a special promotion for you Minties. If you're a first-time customer, after receiving your order confirmation email, reply back to that email and let them know Near Mint Condition sent you their way. They will then apply a free shipping promotional credit to your next order in the US. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discount, quality shipping, and customer service that will keep you coming back for more. And that was the content, page count, and build of this new printing. Let me know in the comments down below if you plan on picking this up, if you are waiting around for the Absolute Edition that will be coming out next year, or if you haven't even read any of these stories and you've been curious about Darwyn Cooke's Batman or Catwoman run, or you just fell in love with Ed Brubaker's Catwoman Omnibus and you want to check out more of Darwyn Cooke's work. If you haven't checked out the wonderful New Frontier, I strongly recommend doing that. But that is it, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Smash that like button on the way out. Everyone stay healthy and safe out there. Much love.